Pow's voice cracked. You think I didn't see it? You think I don't know? Sai moved closer. Brother, listen to me. You have to leave. And go where? My house. For how long? A week? A month? What then? I used everything. The savings, the money from selling furniture, the help you gave me, the little me had put away. Everything is in this property. Mai's voice softened. Pow, money is not more important than your children. Pow looked like she had slapped him. I know that, he said. But being homeless will not save them either. Me stood in the hallway, holding Crystal, listening to her husband break under the weight of all the choices that had led them there. Yi Tao looked at Angie, pale and wrapped in a blanket on the couch. Then do not let the girl sleep alone, he said. And do not let the little one near the vents. Before he stepped out, he turned back to Angie. If it speaks to you, do not answer. Angie's voice was small. What if it sounds like my mom? Still do not answer. What if it sounds like me? Yi Tao did not respond quickly enough. And that was answer enough. The next week was worse. The haunting no longer hit. At 6:12 p.m. while me cooked rice, every burner on the stove clicked on by itself. At 9:30, Scott's bedroom door locked from the outside while he was inside screaming. At midnight, the television turned on to static, and through the white noise came a voice singing a lullaby me's mother used to sing when me was a child. Me unplugged the television. It kept singing. Crystal began talking to corners. At first, me thought it was normal. Crystal was 4. 4-year-olds talk to dolls, blankets, empty chairs, imaginary friends. But then me heard Crystal whisper, "No, I can't go down there." Mommy said no. Me froze in the hallway. Crystal sat on the floor near the vent, her stuffed rabbit in her lap. After a moment, she leaned closer to the vent and whispered, "Because it's dark." Me ran and snatched her up. From inside the vent, something whispered back in Angie's voice. "It is warm under here." Pao began sleeping in front of Angie's door with a baseball bat. He lost weight. He stopped shaving. He called electricians, plumbers, foundation repairmen. No one found anything. One old contractor stepped into the basement, looked at the stone wall, and walked back upstairs without opening his toolbox. "I'm not touching this house," the contractor said. Pao followed him outside. "Why?" "Because my granddad told me about Hollow Creek." "What about it?" The old contractor would not meet his eyes. "Ask the county." So Pao did. The county records were incomplete, but an older woman at the clerk's office took pity on him. She lowered her voice and told him the land had been many things before the house. A school quarter, a burial patch, a place where people without money, names, or family were sometimes put into the ground and forgotten. "People don't like to talk about it," the clerk said. Pao stared at the papers in front of him. Why would someone build there? Same reason people do anything they shouldn't. Money, the clerk nodded. And time? Time makes people brave and stupid. Pao asked about previous owners. The clerk printed what she could. The pattern was clear. No one stayed long. 2 years, 4 years, 18 months, 3 years. Sold, 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 sold. Always cheap, always quickly. No disclosures about hauntings. No warnings. Just signatures, closing dates, and silence. That night, Angie vanished for 11 minutes. They found her in the basement. She was standing barefoot in the dirt, facing the scratched stone wall, her hands pressed flat against it. Me screamed her name. Angie did not turn. Pao ran down and grabbed her. Her skin was freezing. "Angie," he shouted. "Baby, look at me." "She says you can't afford to love me," Angie said. Pao froze. "What?" "She says you bought the house because money mattered more." "No. No, that's not true." "She says you traded us." Me shook her head. That is not Angie talking. Angie turned slightly, but her eyes were still on the wall. "She says a father always pays." Pao slapped his own chest. "Take me then." Me grabbed his arm. "Pao, don't. You want someone." Pao shouted at the basement. "Take me." The basement went silent. Angie turned her head, not toward Pao, toward the floor. Then she smiled. She already did. The next morning, Pao called Pastor John Doe from the small church in town. Pastor John arrived that evening wearing jeans, boots, and a dark coat. He did not look like a movie priest. He looked like a man who had sat beside hospital beds, held grieving parents, and prayed in rooms where prayers did not always get the answer people wanted. "I want to say something before we begin," Pastor John said.